Welcome to Citizen Live at 1. I'm Julie Yeshuru. The government is not going to regulate religious organizations despite the uproar created by controversial preacher Victor Kanyari. Attorney General Githu Muigai says the government falls short of that task due to its deficiency in theological knowledge. Religious leaders meeting with the Attorney General are apparently still held up in a closed-door meeting to discuss the matter, which continues to raise plenty of public interest.
The government has no intention of interfering in theological matters because the government has no knowledge of theology. The government has no intention whatsoever of interfering in the internal management of religious organizations. However, the government has a legal, a political, and a moral responsibility to ensure that religious organizations perform their work in an environment that is peaceful, in an environment that fosters social justice, and an environment that helps in the spiritual development of our nation.
Pastoralists in Mangu and Menengai areas of Rongai, Nakuru County are counting losses following an outbreak of a disease that has already killed more than 10 cattle in the last 3 weeks. The disease, known as skin lumpy disease, is characterized by a loss of appetite, general weakness, and above normal saliva discharge in cows. It has affected an estimated 100 cattle in the area. Safi Godana tells us more.
For many livestock farmers in Rongai sub-county, these are tough times indeed. The outbreak of lumpy skin disease now threatens their lives and livelihoods. The viral disease, characterized by loss of appetite, general body weakness, and saliva discharge from the mouth, kills up to 40% of infected cattle and has affected an estimated 100 cattle in Mangu and Menengai. Some of the animals that have died were reportedly vaccinated when the disease was at an advanced stage, and the depressed owners are now counting massive losses.
Wametuletea watu wa veterinary, wametuletea hasara kubwa sana. Na wakati walikuja kutupatia chanjo, bado ng'ombe zilikuwa mgonjwa. Hata ng'ombe moja mtu alikuwa analipishwa hata kama ni 4,000 kama sasa mimi, na bado zilikufa hata kama nililipa hizo pesa. Kwa hivyo nimeenda hasara ya over $1 million.
Rongai residents now fear that the situation could get worse if the crisis is not addressed urgently, and they now want Nakuru County government to move swiftly and avert more livestock deaths.
Ugonjwa huu tumeuona wiki kama 3 zilizopita, na zote ng'ombe ambazo zimepatikana na ugonjwa inavimba mwili, na kunakuwa na vinoda katika mdomo, ambapo ng'ombe inashindwa kula na hata miguu yao inashindwa kutembea. Kwa hivyo inakuwa inadhoofika kwa ajili ya kutokula, na finally hiyo ng'ombe inakufa.
Safi Godana, Citizen TV.
Cause for very serious concern there. Now, CORD leader Raila Odinga has faulted the Jubilee administration for allegedly failing to tackle pressing issues facing the country. Odinga cited rising cases of insecurity and joblessness. He was speaking this morning in Oyugis during a consultative meeting with ODM delegates from Nyanza, and claimed that the government was not keen on creating jobs and instead was chasing away industrialists. Kendagor Obadia is in Oyugis. He joins us live on the phone for more details on that story. Kendagor, please do elaborate on what the CORD leader has said. For instance, has he specified which industrialists have been chased away?
Good afternoon to you, Julie, and that we are coming to you live from Oyugis. This is where CORD leader Raila Odinga has led the first of this kind of meetings that he is intending to carry out the whole country to try to consolidate the party. Remember, the party is now being faced with a lot of challenges, squabbles from within, rebellion being seen from members of parliament who are from the party and from the coalition at large. And what the party leader has said today is you either shape up or ship out. That is to say, if you are an ODM member, you are either with the party or you are out of the party. That is a very, very direct statement made by Raila Odinga today. It is a warning to members of parliament who are rebelling from the party, who are being seen to be working with the Jubilee government and or rather Jubilee leadership. And it has come to a point where party leader Raila Odinga is saying he can't take it anymore, and he's just asking them to either quit the party or remain firmly in the party. He's also saying that by working with the government, you are actually advancing the chances of this government to continue in power, and yet the interest of every political party is to sail to power. And so what is happening at the moment is that he is actually asking them that you can only work with, you can only work to sail to power through criticizing the government and not working with the government, because no matter what they do, Jubilee will not cede power to them, or Jubilee will not give them anything meaningful by trying to work with the government of the day, Julie.
One might ask then where the interests of the nation fit in all this, but let's talk about the CORD rebels for a moment, or so-called rebels. Who's attending the meeting? Are any of them in attendance?
Something that is glaring, Julie, is that the so-called rebel MPs are not in this meeting. They have actually snapped the meeting, including some of the area members of parliament, like Osiele Silvanas, who is a member from Kabondo, Kasipul. We have members of ODM Young Tax, such as the member for Kisumu Town, the several members of parliament. Ken Obura is not here. Agostino Neto is not here. George Oner from Rangwe is not here. We don't have Dalmas Otieno as well. Jared Kopio is not here. James Reggae is not here. Members who are supposed to be here are not here, despite warning from the party leader that there will be sanctions if they miss this meeting. They are absent, and we have reports that they could be attending another meeting that is being led by Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero, just 44 kilometers away from this one. There is actually a Harambe in Homa Bay Secondary School where Evans Kidero is the guest of honor, and we are told that some of these members have gone and they have been noted as to saying that they would rather concentrate on development, on matters that will help Wananchi, rather than holding meetings that have no agenda at all. So we will be finding out later on to maybe hear from them because it's not too far away from here. We just want to understand from them why they decided to skip this particular meeting that is being led by the party leader. So they are absent. That is a fact, and they are not going to be here, Julie.
Thank you so much for that, Kendagor Obadia there, giving us an update on a meeting held today and speaking to us from Oyugis. Now, residents of Majivuni area, Malindi County, did spend the night in the cold after their houses were demolished earlier this morning, much earlier this morning, allegedly, to pave way for a private investor. The affected claim that they have lived on the land for many years.
They gathered in small groups, perhaps to console one another as they counted their losses, after the place they have called home for years was brought down early this morning.
Yule mtu wa bajaji ndo alipofika akasema, nyinyi mmekaa shamba ya muhindi, sahi tokeni kwa manyumba kwa sababu sahi askari hao wanakuja wanataka kuvunja nyumba. Nikasema kwa nini? Kwa sababu hali hiyo hatuijui sisi. Akasema basi kama hamjui leo basi mtajua kwa sababu nyumba sahi zinakuja kuvunjwa.
This is what remains of the homes of Majivuni residents in Malindi County. The residents claim that they are legitimate occupants of the contested piece of land which a private investor now wants to develop.
Lililofanyika hapa ni kitendo cha kinyama na tunakilani. Nataka kurudia. msinyanyaswe. Hapa ni kwenu, muna haki kama skota anakuwa recognize katika sheria. Tuna haki ya kuishi hapa na msiombe na mkabembeleza mtu.
They claim that they were not served with an eviction order and that the alleged developer is not genuine. The residents added that they were not given time to relocate, this amid allegations of harassment by the police who oversaw the demolition exercise this morning.
Unfortunate. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has started his tour of Machakos County to see development projects in the area. The president is also expected to meet Machakos County leaders and discuss development matters. Early today, the president made a stopover address to residents of Mlolongo in the county. Our reporter Jackie Maribe joins us live on the phone from Mlolongo. Jackie, we understand the president has a heavy schedule today. Take us through it.
Exactly. We've actually just left Mlolongo 5 minutes ago. The president has just addressed the crowd, so we're on our way to Machakos People's Park, where he will be having a meeting there, meeting the residents and basically just addressing them. But as you're saying, he has quite a heavy schedule. He's supposed to tour development projects in Machakos County. He's supposed to have a town hall meeting again in Machakos. Part of the plan for this visit today included visiting Kitui County, but that was cancelled because we understand the logistics of it could not be met today, so he will only be touring Machakos County. But in Mlolongo, as I said, he has just addressed the people there and promises galore for the people of Machakos County. For instance, 200,000 title deeds have been promised. He said 60,000 of them are ready, and by next year, the rest will be coming. The people of Machakos County will be having those title deeds. The land question is as emotive as ever, and therefore this is a plea that was actually made by a former member of Parliament in the area. So the president is saying that those title deeds will come. Promises again on issues to do with education, saying that, you know, children should not have to suffer because of lack of fees, or certificates should be held even after they do exams. But of course, the important question of politics. This is an area, you know, largely dominated by a former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, and therefore there is that tipping of the scales that everyone is focusing on today. And some of the leaders that were able to speak, again, calling on, you know, sober politics, saying this is not the time to be politicking, and this is not the time to be choosing sides. Whether or not to work with the government of the day if you are in the opposition, that is the big question. And of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta echoing these very sentiments, calling on leaders, even in the opposition, to politicking, to stop what he says is misleading the youth, and instead focus on a development agenda, not just in Machakos County, but across all 47 counties.
Thank you so much for that very comprehensive update, and there'll be more for you on that story in our later bulletins. Now, former President Mwai Kibaki yesterday launched Sianda High School in Kiambu County, a dream of his longtime friend, the late Njenga Karume. Karume, who died in February 2012, had donated a 7-acre piece of land to the government for the construction of the institution. He was a close political ally and friend of retired President Mwai Kibaki, and at one time he held 2 different ministerial dockets, defense and special programs.
When the late former cabinet minister James Njenga Karume died more than 2.5 years ago, he had one wish, that of promoting education in the country by establishing a school, the Sianda High School. And so he donated a 7-acre piece of land to advance this cause. Although he is no more, his dream has finally come true. Former President Mwai Kibaki actualized his longtime friend's wish by launching the school when he presided over the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the institution. Well done. Kibaki advised parents, teachers and students to become more competitive in the changing times by casting their nets wider to explore other fields of excellence like sports, music and fine art, rather than focusing on the main fields defined in the education curriculum.
Wengi wenu hapa mna education nyingi tele zaidi
education ya skuli kushinda ile aliyekuwa nayo, lakini mwenyewe kama unamjua zaidi, na tulisungumza sana na yeye tangu mwanzo, tangu mimi niko hapa tu, sijakwenda Makerere na sijakwenda huko Ulaya na sijakwenda huko kwingine, na tulimjua tu, alafu tukawa nina bahati nzuri ya kujuana hivyo na kuenda kuona mahali alipokuwa akiendesha mabiashara hii hapa Kiambu town. Mimi najua ya kwamba anajua mambo haya na alijua sana, na yeye alikuwa na akili hiyo ambayo haikuenda shule kusomeshwa, lakini dunia hii ilifunza yeye sawasawa, na ameendelea vizuri na akasaidia watu wengine wengi sana katika Kenya hii, kila mahali katika Kenya.
Speaking during the event, Kiambaa Member of Parliament Paul Koinange praised Njenga Karume for his role in promoting the education sector in the region by sponsoring individual students and building schools.
We can truly say that whenever the name of Njenga Karume is mentioned, it evokes sweet memories and all people who knew him. Njenga Karume was a natural philanthropist who did not give in order to be paid, but was generous as part of his humanity and continued to bless him. In fact, the more he gave, the richer he became.
Kiambu Governor William Kafogo pledged to support the construction of the institution through county funding, acknowledging the fact that education is not devolved.
Hata kama sio kazi yetu kama county government, mimi binafsi niko na marafiki na pamoja tutaweza kujenga skuli hii. Kwa hivyo mkitualika, hata kama ni harambee tutakuja, japokuwa tunasukuma sana tuachane na maneno ya harambee, lakini hiyo ndio Kenyatta alitufundisha.
Karume was a close friend and political ally to retired President Mwai Kibaki, a friendship that saw Karume rewarded with the two powerful cabinet appointments. He served as Minister for Defense and also headed the Special Programs docket. Karume died on the 24th of April 2012 at the Karen Hospital, aged 83, when he lost the battle with prostate cancer. Patrick Njendi, Citizen Live at 1.
I did have the chance to speak with Njenga Karume shortly before he died, and he talked of the importance of people giving back to society. And I recall he said, no matter how rich you are, you can't eat from two plates at the same time. Moving on, in the number of those turning up for the ongoing Kenya Defence Forces recruitment exercise in Wajir County is low compared to previous years, a situation that has been blamed on inadequate public awareness on the ongoing countrywide recruitment exercise. No females were recruited during the exercise in the sub-counties of Wajir Central and Bor, and KDF has expressed concern at the low number of female trialists from northern Kenya. A total of 3 men were recruited, with the KDF personnel stating the slots offered had also taken into account the balance of clans in the county. The month-long nationwide KDF recruitment exercise began on the 3rd of November and is set to conclude in December. A total of 2,200 KDF personnel are set to be hired at the conclusion of the exercise.
Consulting so much with the Wase, then we end up going to balance our tribes. So that's what you want in Wajir. Sindio?
At least 103 government sites were hacked last year in what is becoming a worrying trend. According to a group of chief information officers, financial institutions and government departments are the most hard hit by the growing cybercrime, which they say, if not checked, could reverse gains made in information and technology sectors. Martin Munene tells us more.
Cases of cybercrime have been on the rise in the country as more people use the internet. Experts in the information technology sector through their chair Hari Hare are warning that cybercrime is now becoming a major threat to business people.
Cybercrime is serious, and that's why everybody is looking at how can they curb it. It's in the increase because there are more people getting their businesses online.
This emerged during the opening of the Chief Information Officer's annual symposium in Naivasha, where the progress made by the continent, especially in the use of mobile phone, was also highlighted.
Africa is the world's leader in terms of internet mobile penetration and the use of mobile devices, and we will soon become one of the key markets in the world in terms of mobile penetration and broadband penetration as well.
Mushemi Wambogo, who attended the symposium, hailed the uptake of technology in Kenya, saying it has been instrumental in running businesses more efficiently and opened up the social media space.
It's a very positive story, particularly for Kenya in this region. The advent of fiber has really allowed us to skip the more traditional cable copper type functions to moving directly towards a fiber-enabled economy.
So, as you enjoy the use of your mobile phone or do business online, be aware of cyber criminals and exercise the necessary caution. Martin Monene for Citizen Live at 1.
Thank you, Martin. Parents who marry off their girls at an early age in Garissa County have been put on notice. Garissa County Executive in charge of Education, Hussein Hajir, has said police and chiefs as well will be on the lookout for parents who marry off their children, especially during the long December holidays. He said those found marrying off their underage girls would be arrested and prosecuted.
We must allow our girls to go to primary, secondary, university, and they make their own choice for the future.
Excellent. Siaya Deputy Governor Ouma Onyango has warned youthful legislators within ODM to respect older politicians in the party. He appealed to the top party leadership not to allow young Turks to create unnecessary rifts within the party. Let's have a look.
It shows more of a lot of adolescence when you are young and you start abusing your parents for the sake that simply because you are young, you are better than your parents, you abuse them left and right, tell them, Dad, can you now die so that I take over the farm? I don't think that is being young.
And with that, we take a break, but don't go away. Business and sport on the way. Stay with Citizen Live at 1.